Happy Wednesday, Sooner Nation. Welcome to the Sooner Surge for Double Trouble. Surgeaholics, greetings to all you from in Tennessee, Colorado, Washington, and of course, the great state of Oklahoma. Thanks for being with us tonight. Summer workouts have commenced, Jay. Saw a little video on the OU football Twitter page, Instagram, and they're started. It's Schmitty time.
Yeah, and hey, real quick, Bonnie, this question was asked today. First off, tomorrow World Series starts, and tonight's the eve of that. OU going for their fourth natty in a row. As far as the portal goes, I know Hunter was looking that up, but here's the thing. There'll be people entering the portal. I've seen a lot of players. I think I saw Baylor had a couple pitchers enter the portal or say they're transferring. Here's the thing. Nothing's going to happen portal-wise until the season's over. So there might be people saying they're going to enter the portal, but nothing's going to happen, in my opinion, until the season's over. But Hunter will drop that. I know Hunter's working right now, but when he gets on, he'll be able to drop it in. A Sooner fan, big time. This is huge for OU basketball. As much as people want to bash OU basketball and they haven't been able to trying to field a team, this is huge. This is huge for Oklahoma basketball. He is the face of the program this year, Jeremy. So, and he's going to have to even take his game to another level, though.
Jay, he's got to. If he's the face of the program, he better improve because right now he's been a garbage guy. He's a guy around the rim is what
he's not. Jeremy, that's ridiculous.
He was a guy around the rim. He's uber athletic. He's got
really
to improve his scoring. I think if they go to him on the block, it's okay. He's got to be better at slashing to the basket, I think.
He was really good shooting a three for them last year.
He wasn't bad standstill three, but I'm saying ball handling and things like that because the ball's going to be in his hands a lot.
He's not a guard, Jeremy.
If he's the face of the program, you better figure that out, Jay.
Does the face of the program have to be a guard?
Usually the face of the program is your big-time player, Jay.
Okay. It doesn't have to be a guard.
I agree. It doesn't have to be. I think he's got to improve his ball handling, okay?
Okay. Who was the face of Duke last year?
Flipowski.
Well, he didn't handle the ball a lot, did he?
Jalen Moore has to improve ball handling. What's wrong with that statement?
Okay. And Gary, he was.
Time out. You call me a sunshine pump on stuff, dude? Come off it.
What do you mean? Why do you call timeout? We're not in the middle of the game. Jeez.
Jalen Moore is the fact that he's coming back is massive. I agree. It gives him a glimmer. It gives him a glimmer of hope. He's got to improve his ball handling.
I agree. Turnovers and stuff like that. Ball handling, yes. Hunter, can you give us the MO of this Duke team? We know Florida State was fast, aggressive on base, and had some outstanding freshmen with power, but pitching suffered because of injury. Any word on Duke?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Duke's pitching is better than, in my opinion, Duke's really good pitchers. I would actually say, now I'd have to look at the ERA of the team. Of course, Kurt is the one that pitched against OU last time. She allowed 3 runs. Look, it's a really good team. Like we talked, Jay, in a video that's going out tomorrow. They were pushing top 5. I mean, pushing top 3 this year.
Yeah, and they've done really good near the end of the season too. It's going to be. It doesn't matter. Here's what I'll say, Uncle Charlie. It doesn't matter who you play right now in the World Series. Stanford. It doesn't matter. Stanford's the 8th seed. It does not matter because they're all really good. This is the deepest the World Series field has been in a long time. Maybe ever. Could be ever, Jeremy.
Hey, Sooner fan, I did see Gasso's response, and I got one word for it. She's irritated. She's irritated about all these people who are saying things. Look, it could be this way all the time in other sports. I mean, if Houston would have made the Final Four.
What about Nebraska going to Omaha for baseball every year if they were good enough?
Exactly.
So,
yeah, Colin, that's a good statement. How deep this lineup is. Parker and Pickering have been unbelievable.
Yeah.
Did Duke win the ACC?
They won the ACC tournament, did they not?
Tournament they did. I thought regular season was Florida State. Do they even do regular season titles?
I don't know. Here's the deal. Duke came in as a 10 seed, I believe, and that where they beat Missouri, knocked Missouri off, which is one of the few upsets in the super regionals. And who would have thought a team that OU played on February 12th or 18th, whatever it is, that they're going to be playing again to open up the World Series. Just kind of crazy.
Hey,
Parker Breed, yeah.
I don't care, who's out there. If there's tons of parity, I get it. If OU softball plays to their abilities and capabilities, they're winning 4 in a row. They're the best team out there. I don't care what they're ranked. I don't care that they're second. They're better than Texas. If this OU team shows up as expected, they will be 4 straight national champions. Period. Case closed. If they don't, there's a chance they could lose. The parity is better. The Texas coach, Mike White, look, he's making excuses, Braden. That's right. The Texas coach is making excuses already going into this thing. And I'm sorry. If I'm a player on that team, I don't like it that my coach is making an excuse already. I'm just saying that. Blake asked a question. Maybe this is factor cap already early. 2 1,000-yard receivers or 1,000-yard rushers. Way higher chance, in my opinion, of having 2 1,000-yard receivers. My opinion. Okay.
Hey, Michael, we actually did a video that's going out tomorrow. That was the exact score I picked. Hey, a couple of things real quick. I want to get to. Who was it asking? Was it Uncle Charlie? Duke, they beat Florida State 6-3 in the championship of the ACC postseason tournament. And here's what I'll say about Duke. I think OU's pitching is good enough that OU scores 4 or 5 runs. I think they win this game. I do think Duke maybe that would be. I mean, you look at the 3 games they played against Missouri in the Super Regional. I think the most runs Duke scored was 6 in the game. And I think that last game they won maybe 4-3. I think it went like 8 or 9 innings. So I think you get run. Here's the deal: you get runs, you get them early. I think you get out in front, you win this game going away, maybe 5-1, 6-1. As Michael says, should the WCWS rotate? Here's what it comes down to. Go look at Patty Gasso's quote, guys. Here it is. Money. Who's going to bring up? I mean, they put so much into this. They have so many fans that go to it. It's a great spot. Somebody else, I mean, Oklahoma City does a great job for this. I don't know if anybody else is going to do that.
But it's also there's a 15,000 seat stadium. Where's that at?
Correct. Where?
You got to find. Should they rotate? Yeah, they should if there is more options and opportunities. There's not, so they can't rotate. But
and it's not
OSU has an advantage. OSU has an advantage. Texas is really close. Mike White, I mean, he's still pretty close. That's not a long flight to get to Oklahoma City from Austin. I'm sorry, it's an excuse.
Yeah, Big Orange. I was actually hoping to see Tennessee in the World Series, to be honest with you. They got upset, but
Alabama, Jay. Alabama, UCLA gets it started tomorrow. It's going to be interesting with the weather. There's chances of rain all day.
UCLA is going to win that matchup.
This could be all the way till 2 a.m. like it did a couple of years ago.
No venue like Hall of Fame Stadium or Devon Park, whatever they want to call it. Real quick, tomorrow, guys, SEC, I believe at 1:30, 2:30 Eastern, is releasing the first 3 weeks times of the football games for SEC schedule. So something to keep your eye on it if you're an OU fan. Here's what I'm so grateful, so thankful for with the SEC. The amount of 11 o'clock kickoffs will be very few, if maybe I'm going with 1 for the year. Jerm?
One thing I want to see, Jay, the first game I'm looking at, Tennessee, I wanted it to be a night game.
Yeah, opening game in Norman, night game would be nice.
What do you think of the new SEC logo, Jay?
Like it a lot.
Yeah. I saw the video on Twitter OU football put out. And before I get to that, Sooner fan, as a viewer, as someone going to the games, it actually, 11 a.m. is great. But Gary, summer workouts have begun. I'm going to say one guy, Jay, just what, and I understand it's watching a video, it's seeing a clip, whatever. I get it. Oh, you can't base anything. I'm basing it off it. Here it is. Ethan Downs is going to have a monster season. I'm saying it right now.
Hey, you could say that Ethan Downs, from the time he was a freshman to where he is now, maybe you could go through guys that have been there 4 years, and there's a good handful of them that have made. I mean, to me, you look at guys like Danny Stutzman, Billy Moblin. Every year they get better and better and better. That's called development, and that's what OU has done a really good job of. You could say Ethan Downs, maybe out of all of them, every year made the best improvement. He's changed his body. He's changed everything. I mean, last year he had a really good year. I think he's going to have a good year again this year. Any footage out on OU football Twitter, there's some out of them lifting and running sprints and different things with Schmitty with the whistle blowing. Here's the deal. It's going to be here before you know it. That's what, when I see summer workouts, that's the first thing I think of. Oh boy, football season just around the corner.
Yeah, I mean, Ethan Downs looked strong in the video. He looked very strong. And like you said, he's got enough of the what's the word I'm looking for? Not dog in him, but just the way. I mean, you saw him drop the horns down last year when he won the award. He's just got that MO about him that you want him as one of your leaders, and he is one of the leaders. And the other thing that came out on Twitter, if you saw Brent Venables with Danny Stutzman, there's a lot of that on Twitter about Brent Venables talking about the leadership of Stutzman, how him and Stutzman basically spent some time at BV's house about goals for this year, goals for the summer. And Brent Venables just raved about Danny Stutzman and Billy Bowman.
Well, and you saw the quote from Dominic Williams, when the newest Sooner, really, basically all their top playoffs. That's they want to
playoffs or bust, Jay.
I mean, could you say playoffs or bust? I think a lot of people on this team, that's what they playoff or bust. I mean, literally. Any of them putting on more size. We're going to get the weights as you get into the summer, but I promise you they're putting on more weight. I promise you. I just knowing Jerry Schmidt, but a guy like Danny Okoye, who is a weight room freak before he got to Norman, I'm sure he's looking the part right now, along with many of those guys.
Yeah, I saw you could see Okoye on the video.
No, Bobby, that should be the goal every year. I agree. And as OU, especially OU football, that should be the goal. But I think there's a difference in saying that that's your goal and it actually being your goal. Does that make sense? A lot of teams say, yeah, national championship playoff, that's our goal. But deep down inside, they're thinking, man, let's just get to the conference championship. I don't know. That's just my thought.
Man, I don't know about Tennessee, Jay. College World Series.
Tennessee will be in the World Series, yes.
Jay says so. Yeah, Blake, he's a quiet dog, Ethan Downs. A little bit of a quiet guy. But that DN room, as someone said earlier, it's too loaded to not be making noise week in, week out. I mean, you got guys, and Halton was in the video today, talked about, kind of made a statement about how hard it was, but they welcome it. They embrace it.
Monty says, who in the D-line's over 300 except...
No, he said the whole D-line.
Oh, whole D-line. Okay, yeah. Yeah, hey, I have something to bring up. It's about defense. Just off the top of your head, where do you think OU would have ended up last year in the SEC in total defense? Because I did some digging.
I would have said top 6.
No. There were only 3 teams behind OU in total defense last year from the SEC. And that would have been Vanderbilt, South Carolina, and I'm trying to remember the last one.
Jay, were the offenses better in the Big 12 or SEC?
And what I mean by that is because they averaged total defense, I think it was like 389, maybe points, yards per game. It's total defense. Rush, pass. What's that?
Would you say offenses were better in the SEC or Big 12 last year? Or comparable?
I think that not a whole lot of difference. I think SEC is a little bit better offensive.
Hey,
I don't think that the days of calling the Big 12 just outrageously awesome offenses are over.
I agree. Hey, listen, Richard brings up the neutral field thing. You mean like playing Texas and Dallas every year? I get that, but that stadium is split down the middle, so you can't really say that. What I'll compare it to is Big 12 basketball tournament is always in Kansas City.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. It's always going to be.
It's different, though, to me, for a conference tournament and then the national tournament.
Right, but every year someone has the chance, even in a bowl game. OU played LSU in the Superdome for a national championship.
Yeah.
OU played Florida in the Orange Bowl for a national. So come on. I mean,
Jeremy,
I complained a little bit.
It's the evil empire, and beat them. Beat them. If you want to talk about OU softball, about somebody needs to go beat them.
Slay the giant.
Slay the giant. Yeah, SEC better offenses. But here's what I will say about SEC. I do think their defenses as a whole, and SEC Mike, I think when he came on said something like this, is I don't think they're as good as they used to be defensively in the conference. I think they're good, but I think overall college football has gotten so much better offensively that I think the defenses have come back a little bit. I think now, but I will say this. I did some research in Georgia. The only team in the last 4 years, every year, holding opponents to under 300 yards a game. Every single year, they've held their opponent under 300 yards a game. The only team to do that in the SEC. That proved, and where have they been every single year, Jeremy? Top.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, that could be a very good barometer. Is maybe 300 yards a game. If you can get close to holding a team to 300 yards a game, chances are you're probably going to be the top defense in the nation.
Well, two things on that, Jay. To Mez's point, Mez, Roof and Levy, they're gone. And the two guys that came in, Alley and Latrell, the physicality has already ramped up. Just putting those guys in that position. Their physicality is going to be off the charts better because Roof was not that type of guy. Levy was a finesse guy. And then you exit out DG and you bring in a dude who can just unleash it all around the football field. Yes, they're far better. Second of all, Gary, no, it will never work. You've got to play in the Cotton Bowl. And if you heard Chris Del Conte, Jay,
they're doing a lot of renovations to the Cotton Bowl. They're putting a lot of money into it.
Did you hear him and Josie with Paul Feinbaum? I loved it. I loved what he said.
I did. I thought it was good.
Basically, he said the Iron Bowl can't touch this game. Monty, yes, Riley has spent the entire – he's trying to get out of that game. He's not going to get out of it, but he's tried. He's running.
I heard something interesting on speaking of this, Colin Cowherd today. And I don't listen to him very often. Flipped it on a little bit. He was talking about USC has to start – they have to drop the Notre Dame game. They can't keep playing the Notre Dame game because of their schedule in the Big Ten.
But Jay, Notre Dame has to play that game.
Well, Notre Dame really wants to play that game, yeah.
No. Notre Dame has to. They're not in a conference. They have to play that game.
They don't have to play USC.
If they want to make the playoff, they have to.
They could play another good team. They don't play USC.
Oh, they've got to play that game, Jay.
I don't know why you would get rid of that game. That's a good rivalry game. I like that game. That's probably just Lincoln wanting to get out of it.
There's no probably about it, Jay. That's exactly what it is. I will be very disappointed if the physicality we see from this team is not a notch above what we've seen.
Should physicality equal
I'll tell
better run defense?
Well, yes, but here's what physicality equals, Jay. Winning close games. Well, you win close games with physical nature, physical ability, winning games in the fourth quarter.
I think, listen, the one thing, I know you backed Levy a lot, okay, but probably the most disappointing thing I thought from Jeff Levy's offenses were when he came in, I thought this team was going to be so physical in the run game. I thought they would be a very physical run team. I don't think they ever got there. I mean, it was all to me, yeah, he came in, it was going to be a fast offense, but it was going to be physical. I don't think offensively running the ball, they were ever physical enough.
Too many QB zone reads, Jay.
Can you do that with the zone read? Can you be a physical run team with the zone read?
You can if you got two backs back there, possibly, but it's not even that for me. It's just the mentality, I think, was more of a finesse, and that's fine. That's the way it was. He ran a top 5 offense. I get it with the above a little bit, slightly above average quarterback. But the physicality wins fourth quarter games, as Blake says.
That is great.
Endurance gets you the ability to close it out. And those are combo. Look at, okay, you got Schmitty now paired with Schmitty, Beatenbow, Latrell, Venables, and Alley. Okay, those 5 dudes, physical is a characteristic of each one of those guys.
I agree, but we have to see it. We have not seen it.
We haven't seen those 5 guys together, Jay.
That's what I'm saying. You haven't seen it on the field yet. So I think that's a wait and see, right?
And there's nothing more frustrating than having guys bang helmets for 3 hours and a place kicker come out there and lose the game. Like, that better not happen this year.
Well, I don't know who the kicker is going to be at this point.
I guess you got to say, don't leave it to your kicker because you're in trouble. Poncho Jack, I think it's Kelly
Maxwell. Listen, Poncho Jack. First time they played Duke, Maxwell pitched 5 shutout innings, and then 2 innings from Keeney, they won 3-0. I think there's no chance they're not starting Maxwell tomorrow. Listen, I know Duke is probably, maybe, I don't even know. Are they easier than UCLA? I don't know, but here's the deal. You absolutely cannot lose to Duke. If you lose the first game of the World Series in this deep of a World Series, it's going to be tough to get all the way back. I think it's Maxwell, and then, yes, you can bring May in relief, and we'll see. I just think game 2, May's put an interesting quandary in the whole thing because she's pitching really well. But
you got to go May second.
I don't know. I like Kirsten Deal too, but I don't know. I like Kirsten Deal.
I'm going May second game. And listen, Maxwell could pitch second game if she had to. And I agree, Duke is a sleeper. They're one of those teams that have the ability, and the scare factor is there. I just don't think OU is going to be scared at all. I don't think OU is going to play tight. They know what they're saying. They've been waiting for this moment the entire year. I think we're going to see the best OU we've seen all year. I think they're going to run roll Duke. I think it's 8-2.
One thing to keep an eye on is Duke has softball in town and baseball in town. There's a possibility they could have a pretty good fan club because they can go to both. And they might have traveled really well because of that. And let me say this. I want to go back to this. And hear me out on this. Mess. There is a very good chance at the end of this coming season, 2024, that OU fans, everybody's looking back on 2024 and saying, you know what? The one decision that Brent Venables made that put this team in the next level is not going to the SEC year 1 with Ted Roof. And I think, looking back, that could be one of the biggest moves that was made from Brent Venables. I really do. I don't think you can underestimate it. I think you're going into a new conference, a dominated conference in the SEC with defense, and you make that move before going in there instead of waiting a year. It can't be understated, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I agree. May, a definitive elite closer now, but I think she's more than that. She's also a starter. She'll start game 2. I don't think they'll go past Maxwell and May much. They may use Dill some. They may use Keeney in relief, but it's going to be Maxwell and May's games, in my opinion.
Hey, this isn't the World Series when you lose to James Madison and come back. These teams are deep, and you have to start your ace game 1. And here's the thing too. It's like, I kind of look at like baseball when you watch the World Series. You start your best pitcher early on. I know softball's a little different because your arm doesn't get tired, but you can start them and then they get more chances throughout the tournament. And you can pitch. You saw it with Jordy Ball last year. Pitched a ton in the World Series. Pitch your ace. There's no holding back now. And Kelly Maxwell came to Oklahoma to win a national championship. Give her the ball.
That's exactly right. That's why she came here. And she didn't. She wanted just a change of scenery. Mez says big change of direction for BB. And I agree. And Jay, earlier I mentioned the article where it talked about BB talked about Stutzman and Bowman. What type of leaders do you want on the team? And he said, those 2 guys. That's exactly what I want. talking about the meeting with Stutzman about goals over the summer. I'm not saying he hasn't had time to do that, Jay, but when Zach Alley is now more of a defensive, he's a defensive guy. He's just like BV was when he was young, a younger BV. It's giving, I think, BV an opportunity, to be the CEO of this defense and of this team. And again, people on here who say, "Well, and you said it earlier, Jay, I want to see it. I want to see it too." But all the pieces not are just there; they've been there. They're veterans mixed with young guys. That there is no reason to think that this team cannot be a top 15 defense in the nation. Like, it's disappointing if they're not, Jay.
Yeah, I agree. And hey, be safe, Blake. Have a good night. Hey, I'm going to get to trivia real quick. Then I want to answer this question, and then I got something to say about Bowman. Okay, so trivia. Check out Fanstop, fanstop.com. Make sure when you go there, you use code SURGE. You'll get 10% off your first 3 months. I'm serious, guys. If you have not gone to the website, go look at it. The shirts are unbelievable. New shirt every month, different colors, OU officially licensed logos. Go check them out. Here we go. Trivia tonight. You got a little NFL camps going on. Baker Mayfield, number 1 pick in the draft. All I want to know tonight is who was number 2 in that draft? Number 2 pick in the draft class with Baker Mayfield. Who was it? You know it, Jeremy?
I have an idea. I don't know if I'm correct. Poncho Jack, Jay.
Let me answer Poncho Jacks. First off, about UCLA. I am kind of sold on UCLA being a really good team. I think they're hot right now. I think sometimes that's what it takes. But they're not going to get by Oklahoma. I got OU Florida in the national championship. That's who I got. I think Texas loses game 1 out of the gate. I think Canada gets them game 1.
I also
not
think
Sam Darnold.
I also
need to give y'all a hint. Do I need to give y'all a hint?
I think
running back.
Barkley was not the same year.
Saquon Barkley, number 2 pick. Hey, oh wow! I think he's saying oh wow to me saying Texas is losing game 1. Hey, Poncho, go look at the last few weeks of Texas. OU got him in the Big 12 tournament, and let's face facts. Texas A&M played him really well in their tournament, and I think Kennedy. We saw what she could do last year. She can shut you down. Now she kind of struggled a little bit in postseason super regionals and stuff, but I think lights are on. I think they get him game 1.
But who eliminates them? Because here's the deal. There's one team, and I guess it's because I think it's because, Jay, I'm an OU fan. There's one team I kind of don't want to play in the championship game.
OSU.
I don't want to play OSU in the championship series. They've got the Kelly Maxwell stuff. They played good against OU. It'd be setting OU up. That's the team I want to stay away from, Jay.
Here's what I have happening. I have Texas losing to Stanford. I have OSU losing to Florida. I have OSU losing to Texas.
Okay.
That's kind of what I have happening. But I may be totally wrong. I've been wrong a lot on brackets. So
that's my point, Poncho.
Let me say something really quick about Bowman and Stutzman and Downs.
Before you do, Jay, let me just say this real quick because we're on softball real quick and then go to you. Poncho Jack, that's the reason. And I hate to say this. If you play OSU and you haven't lost a game, you could maybe pitch Maxwell 1 game. If not, you throw the others. I think that's what you'd have to do.
Here's what you cannot replicate. You cannot replicate. You cannot reciprocate it. I don't even know the word you want to say. It's kind of like practice for quarterbacks. You can't replicate our game feel in practice. You just can't. You cannot replicate the World Series to some of these teams that haven't been there as much. Oklahoma, these ladies like Brito, Jennings, May, Nicole May. I mean, I can go on and on with the list. Kenzie Hansen. We can go all the way down the list. It's a different animal. When you wake up that day of game day and you go out there, it's not the same, Jeremy. You have different jitters. You have different it's not the same. I don't care who you are, whatever kind of player you are, it's different. And that matters in softball and any sport.
And Mark, I totally agree. I'm choosing an 8-2 victory for OU against Duke. I think this team's been waiting for this moment the entire year. They may say, no, we've been focused all year, but they're going to be uber focused. They're uber veteran leadership. Jay, when does it end? I thought it was next Tuesday.
Well, here's the deal. I think he's asking because of the weather. The weather could affect it this week, and it doesn't look good a few days. So I don't know how that's going to work.
But when's the championship series, Jay?
I thought it started Monday.
It starts Monday. Yeah, it goes through Tuesday or Wednesday. I think that.
Yeah. So we'll see. I think OU gets number 4, wins number 4. I really do.
What about
Bowman? I'm an OU fan, but Jeremy, I've actually been picking against OU some this year. So
what about Bowman?
All right. So just like I said earlier about Zach Alley, I don't think it can be understated or overstated, whatever you want to say about Ted Roof and Alley coming in, how important it is. Guys, this is May 29th. How would you be feeling right now as an OU fan? I'm serious. If Stutzman and Bowman went to the NFL.
Yeah, Jeremy, if Stutzman and Bowman were gone, it would be a different scenario, Jay.
Honestly, how would you be feeling right now?
I would be feeling worried, Jay.
What's that? It'd be Downs would be the leader, but
Jay, I would be worried. Listen, there ain't really those 3 guys. Downs, Stutzman, Bowman.
Washington too. Woody too.
Woody Washington a little bit too. But Jay, I would be way less confident because these guys not only are some of your best players, if not the best, they're also the best leaders. And any team I've ever coached, Jay, I know it's not been at elite levels, whatever you want to say. When your best players are your best leaders and do the right thing, those are the championship teams. Those are the ones. That's what they have. Their best players are also their best leaders, and that should equal or equivocate to or result in a playoff. Are we ready for this?
Yeah, and Ron says 8-4 compared to whatever else it would be. And they didn't come back for giggles. They came back to win. And you know that's what they're driving.
Maybe some money too.
What's that?
Maybe some money too.
Yeah, but I also think this. I think it's, and this may be totally dumb statement. I think it's way more important to bring back what you brought back defensively than offensively. I think in some positions offensively, you can plug and play and get by. What they brought back in the middle of the defense, I think, is massive. Massive. And the additions, you look at additions like Dominic Williams. Dominic Williams is going to be huge for them.
Yeah. They haven't had leadership. They've lost because of poor leadership. Bobby, is it odd their best players and best leaders are
that's a great point. I like that.
I mean, it may be odd, but it's not because they're Riley recruited that they are good leaders. I think that's had to be developed a little bit. And they're just older guys. Poncho, I talked about this early, right when we started. It's a joke. Beat them. Beat them. Mike White, beat OU. Obviously, Patty Gasso's irritated about the whole thing. Look, any team can say this. OU could say it in basketball when you play the Big 12 tournament in Kansas City. OU could have said it when they lost to LSU. In fact, I did say it when they lost to LSU for the national title. Jason White's year. I was complaining, but beat them. They had a chance. They didn't beat them.
Hey, here's the thing. I think probably, I don't know what percentage, I think a lot of people on this chat right now played sports growing up. There's not a better feeling than going somewhere else and beating them. And if I was some of these other teams, that would be my mantra. Get down there, go to Oklahoma City, knock the 3-time champions off. I mean, what better feeling would that be if you're another team? I mean,
Jay,
drive the other team instead of using it as an excuse.
Yeah, I agree. And Poncho, those are the 2 that I did mention earlier. Yeah, LSU and the Superdome in Florida. And Jay, the thing about it is, get another. There's no other place you could go do that. So until that happens, by the way, they're on a contract till 2035 at the Hall of Fame Stadium. Okay.
Yeah, long contract.
Jay, do we have a trivia update?
I don't know. I can't do it on this end, but Hunter will probably drop it tomorrow, the 30th. He'll have the update.
Yeah, we got to have an update for trivia, Jay.
Texas going to spend money on softball. I think you're going to see a lot more teams start spending money on softball.
Agreed.
And I don't know where this, Jeremy, I have no clue where the revenue sharing is going. I have no clue. But if some sports are bringing in money, I don't know how they're going to divvy it out, but gosh,
yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how they do that.
Here's what I know, guys and gals that are on here. Summer workouts have officially commenced and begun. That's great news.
Now, yep.
Second of all, the chase for 4 90s in a row begins at 1:30 tomorrow. OU versus Duke. Be tuned in. It's going to be exciting. First game is 11 o'clock, Alabama, UCLA. OU plays the winner of that game. But appreciate everyone that's on here. Kudos to you guys being faithful on here every single night. We appreciate it. We apologize for missing a few nights, but we're back at it strong. Vacations and other things. Technical difficulties, storms. Yeah.
Hey, what's your schedule like tomorrow? I'm thinking maybe after the game, possibly doing a live after the OU softball game.
Yes, we'll plan on doing a live or something after the game, immediately following the game. So set your calendars for that. Cannot wait. Appreciate you all. Till next time. Boomer.
Sooner.